Good night, Belizeans at home and abroad. This is the Belizean Affairs Show number 479. 479. My name is Leonard Brackett. I'll be your temporary chairman until our chairman for tonight shows up. But in the interest of timeliness, I'll just start the show and do the preliminaries as we normally would do, which is to say a short prayer first and then read a short scripture reading. I'll just go ahead and bow my head. Divine loving Father, thou who art the creator of heaven and earth and all that in them are, thou who art our creator too, we come before thy presence asking that thou would accept our humble expression of gratitude and thankfulness to you for having given us the privilege of life, first and foremost, and secondly, for the opportunity to still be alive among our family members, friends, and loved ones. Please bless our family members, our children, grandchildren, great grandchildren, and the mother of our children, as well as our wives, husbands, and other significant ones. We pray that thou would have mercy upon them all. Please bless the rest of our extended family members. Please bless our country of Belize, its people and leadership. And please bless this country as well, its people and its leadership as well. Pray that thou must bless the rest of humanity, loving Father, be merciful upon them as well, especially those who are in war zones, who are losing their lives and limbs and liberty. Please bless those who have need of food and clothes and shelter. Please provide for them. And please bless the show tonight that whatever we have to say or do, may it accrue to the well-being and benefit of our people and country of Belize and others. For us in mercies in Jesus' name. Amen. Thank you very much. I don't see any of our panelists in the background yet. So I'll proceed as normal. Let me just grab my Bible here for a second. And then I'll just pick a book, whichever one I open up to, and we'll just proceed to read from the book of Job, which is a very troubling book, by the way. We're going through some trials, tribulations, and travails currently, so maybe I got lucky. I'll go ahead and read chapter 10 of Job, starting at verse 1, which reads as follows: My soul is weary of my life. I will leave my complaints upon myself. I will speak in the bitterness of my soul. I will say unto God, do not condemn me. Show me wherefore thou contendest with me. Is it good unto thee that thou shouldst oppress, that thou shouldst despise the work of thine hand, and shine upon the counsel of the wicked? Has that has as though it says as though it says as though eyes of flesh. Oh, it's a question. As though eyes of flesh, or seest thou a man as a man seeth? Are thy days as days of man? Are their years as man's days? And I will say that's the end of reading for tonight. And thanks to those of you who will be listening to our program for tonight, and those who will be listening thereafter at your own convenience after you get home from work and those who are listening or checking out our program in future dates. We do want to express our gratitude to you for being attentive to what we have to say, and hopefully, somehow or another, you may derive some public benefit from our endeavor. That is to say, our intent and the effort of our program is to try and elucidate, enhance, and or inform our Belizean people at home and abroad and others as regards to Belizean affairs. Our country is currently going through a lot of upheavals, a lot of problems. Our government whom the people are elected to serve them, are misbehaving, are serving themselves while committing a whole bunch of other criminal conduct under the color of law. But I guess when our chairman and our other colleagues come in, we'll be able to have a little bit more detailed debate on those particular questions or matters. For right now, I just want to say it is unfortunate that we live in Hurricane Alley in Belize, which is part of Central America, by the way, for those who don't or wouldn't know. Um, and every June, between June and November, is when we have what they call the hurricane season. And when we don't have a hurricane, we end up with thunderstorms and excess rain, flooding, and all the effects of that type of weather pattern. Not to say that some parts of the country are at sea level. For example, the biggest city in the whole country, part of it is below sea level and another part is above sea level, not too much. So even with the high tides, without any of these devastating hurricanes and or major weather pattern like we have been having recently, even when that is not causing us any problems, we have major problems from basic high tide because the sea level is also raising. And the lease was built on some mangroves which were filled up, and people started building houses on those. And eventually, those mangroves, when you pile up a certain amount of earth on it, it weighs down and it goes into the ground and becomes kind of soppy or soft and mushy. And the outcome is that the more material you're piling up on those areas to try and raise the level of the ground, every so often that material goes back to sea level or lower. So people in that area constantly have to be filling up their yards and raising the level of the streets and doing whatever mitigatable effort they can to make the best of their living condition. As regards to the hurricane season, some of the people have to resort to taking shelter in the school buildings or in the community center and other areas. And it baffles me that for so many decades, years and decades now, every year we go through the same cycle. Sometimes a little bit worse than others. But every year we have storms. May not be a full blown hurricane or a powerful hurricane, but we do have tropical storms. And every year we have flooding. And some of these facilities that the people go to take refuge in are ill equipped or not adequately equipped for that type of situation. The roofs are leaking, windows or doors and other parts of the building is missing, and there's no repair program regularly to keep those facilities habitable or to be used for shelter or rescue. And as far as this particular program or platform is concerned, we keep advocating for the government to be more attentive to those realities and to, do what needs to be done on behalf of the general public, because that's why they sign up for that job, to look after the well-being and manage the affairs of the country, rather than managing the budgets of the different government departments for them to basically find a way to hustle. Anyhow, I don't see any of the panelists yet, and I don't know how far ahead I'm going to get. Um, Let me just go ahead here and okay. Oh, in the meantime, before the chairman gets here, instead of my starting off the program proper, just spare me another minute or so. Let me go ahead and open up this other platform for the other viewers of the program to gain access. Just a minute. Okay, let me try and get this done quickly. Mhm. Okay, that's that. That's that. Edit. That's the German. Okay, so let's take that takes care of that. All right. Okay, I'm finished. Let me see if I can get back to. I'll just, in the interim, I'll make a backup or alternative program for right now. Just a minute. I'm trying to locate this information here. Can't access the information. I'm not able to access the information that I was looking for, so I'm going to have to try something else. Shucks. Okay. Um, what I'll try to do here is present article that I wrote back on July 22nd, or at least it was first posted then. I'm not too sure if it was written on that particular date, but I know the last posting that I have available right now that I'm looking at is dated July 22nd of 2025, a little over a year ago. The following commentary was made by Leonard Brackett as a teachable moment contribution. A report contribution from a report made by G. Brock of a posted video comment by Belize DPP. Uh, in Belize, what we call the DPP is the Director of Public Prosecution. I went on to give the topic a heading, uh, saying that the Belize Constitution, Unlawful Practices or Teachable Moments, Part 3, small a, dated 22nd of July 2025. I went on to say, she, Mrs. Sherilyn Vidal, who, by the way, or DVP is a female, whose name I just called, Sherilyn Vidal, Director of Public Prosecution, is giving a rationalized, nice sounding speech or a rogue narrative. That is, at that time, there was a issue that was being spoken to or queried into, and she had the opportunity to answer some questions that were posed to her. And the way she addressed the matter and the way she spoke to the matter led some of us to have the impression that she was trying to, like, as a good lawyer, or as most good lawyers would do, not to show their hands. So to give you a version of their perspective without having to let their opponents or the other lawyers who are going to defend against them if they go to court on the particular matter, not be able to know how to present the most effective defense against their prosecutorial efforts. So I went on to say, she, Mrs. Sherilyn Vidal, Director of Public Prosecution, is giving a rationalized, nice sounding speech slash rogue narrative, which does not comport or relates to police practices and facts on the ground. That is, that she has to depend on the police report and police investigations to assist her in her prosecution efforts. And at that time, the police department, well, I'll just go on to, I'll just read on and then you'll get the gist of some more, instead of my trying to elaborate on it before I finish reading. I could elaborate after I finish reading. Let me just continue reading a little bit more. Which does not comport or relates to the police practices and facts on the ground that are based on onerous, draconian other laws, which are, when I say other laws, I'm not referring to the Constitution of Belize, by the way. Any such other laws are the extra laws that the House of Representatives would vote on and try to bring into existence. But in some instances, they vote on onerous, unconstitutional laws that are not legal, lawful, or constitutional, as is deemed by the Constitution of Belizean, Section 2 of the Constitution, which says that any other law that is inconsistent with the Constitution is to be deemed as, to the extent of their inconsistencies, as being null and void. Not my words, those are the words exactly as is stated in the Constitution. I went on to say that are based on onerous, draconian, other laws made by the legislature and relative to the Belize Constitution and enshrine human fundamental rights. Wherefore, and I still don't see no one in the background yet, so I'm just going to keep moving forward. Wherefore, the presumptions or assumptions or directives regarding this particular matter seems to be an overreach and does not trump the supreme law of Belize, which is the Constitution. And she, as the deputy, as the director of public prosecution, the DPP, should know that much. However, I went on to state that under Section 6 of the Constitution of Belize, innocent until proven guilty, it says, by a lawful established court of jurisdiction. So a person cannot be deemed as being guilty unless pronounced as such by a court after a trial. Even though the person might have committed the act, the laws, the legal framework, and the way the legal system operates is that everyone is innocent until proven guilty. And that is the way it's set up, even though that's not necessarily always true. Because by mere factor, not factor, by mere fact of committing an act, whether a person is tried or not, by virtue of the act having been committed, then the result or the outcome of of having committed that act lend itself to criminality or the criminalization of an act. As per Section 20 for judicial review, some people, some people's homes have been ransacked and broken without repairs or, or any due compensation for damages, even when no criminal evidence is found, whether actual or planted by others. I still don't see anyone else, so I'll just keep pushing on, as I said. Other people have been assaulted, beaten, terrorized by state security personnel with impunity at that. That is that In most instances, these personnel that goes out there and commit a crime under the color of law, brutalizing the civilians, they're still then exculpated by their superiors or their boss or their senior officers. And if you take them to court, you have a hard time proving your case because the case then has to go through the legal system with custody of evidence and all kind of other stuff that has to come through for proper custody, has to be reported to the police, and evidence have to be collected by the police, which then should help the prosecutor to gain a successful prosecution. And when the prosecutor is given police files lacking evidence, and the prosecutor or the director of public prosecution will turn around and say that the file had less than nothing in there, which then implies that she has not enough information to prosecute. That's unfortunate because then that process does not amount to serving justice. You call that, uh, in some instances, should call that nolle prosecuere. That is, that they will not prosecute that individual. Because there's no sense to take a case to court if you don't have the evidence or enough evidence based on how the system operates in order to gain a conviction. And in our country, Belize, in Central America, I think we have less than a 5% conviction rate, which is laughable, by the way. It goes on to say here, some people are given or levied bogus charges by the police department of resisting arrest and assaulting police officers to frustrate and deter them from making any complaints or rights violation against police officers. So a police officer can run up to you, beat you down in the ground, turn around and charge you for resisting arrest. I mean, it sounds almost ludicrous, but it's not one or two or three times I've had that kind of incident occurring. So, you know, most people will understand or know what I'm talking about, or at least have heard, if they have not seen, at least they have heard of such incidents in the past. Other people are arbitrarily and capriciously arrested and falsely charged and remanded to prison, sometimes for extreme lengths of time or incarceration, as in the case where there's need for case management while they're waiting time, and then their cases have been dismissed with no compensation or redress. You just let them out. Police arrest them on bogus charges. There's no evidence to support the police bogus charge. So therefore, the DPP cannot move forward and prosecute. So therefore, they declare them nolle prosecuere. I see someone in the background right now, so let me just stop for a second, and I think it might be Mr. Morrison. Just a second, please. Uh, Good night, Mr. Morrison.
Good evening. Good evening. Good
Yes,
evening.
sir. Thank you for gracing us with your presence, sir. Um,
Thank you, sir, for having me.
the chairman is not in yet, as
Okay.
you can see, and therefore I
Yes.
was taking the liberty, in the interest of timeliness, to use up some of the front end part of the program time to present a little extra, uh, you know, ranting on about some things that stress me out, no? And
Yeah.
so I would
Yeah.
just like to ask
Thank
if I
you.
can
Okay.
yield to you for
My,
personal um,
good, good evening.
identification.
Good evening. My name is Gregory Morrison, and I'm sitting in here with the group from California. And it's always a pleasure being here, sharing our thoughts with you, wherever you are, sitting, Belizeans, friends of Belize, in Belize or in the diaspora. I hope we could get to talk a little bit about the power outages that was a whole country blackout in Belize.
Well,
Um, it,
what I'll do then is I'll just make one last statement here quickly, and then drop this because this was not supposed to be part of the program, no? And we invite you to be on the program for tonight as usual because we are looking forward to you contributing, and we had decided on certain other program elements that we was going to address tonight. So,
yes,
in the interest of getting to your point, then before the chairman shows up,
yes,
quickly, I'll just beg that you allow me to finish off this last thought, no?
yes,
Quickly.
sir.
Um, so I was making reference to the fact that other people are arbitrarily and capriciously arrested and falsely charged and remanded to prison. Sometimes for extreme lengths of time, they are held incarcerated or on a remand while their case goes through what is called in the legal circles case management time. And they have their case dismissed after a period of time with no compensation given to them or no redress for their imprisonment. Quickly, Mr. Morrison, I don't know how much you may have heard of what I was talking with just now. Could you give us a quick comment on that and then just go straight into the point that you were saying for us to talk a little bit before the chairman comes?
Okay. Um, well, I'm not too familiar with what you were going on, but it always concerns me about how the government operates and leave so much up to chance instead of doing some specific planning to try and arrive at the answers and solution that serves the nation. So my concern is always how can they maximize and do the best for the people. And often we don't see them leading or thinking in that direction because often it seems like their focus is always a hustle. And that is so unfortunate. It is truly so unforgiving because our country and our people has so much potential. And so I always wonder what are their thoughts? Why can't they focus and bring to the table something that would represent the interests of the people and the nation in a way that we can all be proud of? And like you often say, Mr. Brackett, is that
Yes, sir.
you know making the pie bigger truly makes the pie bigger so that the possibility exists for everything. I don't like to think of stealing and hustling, but when they do the right thing and they leave the money within the system and develop the system, we have the possibility of enriching themselves in a just way, and we also have the possibility of making the distribution of our resources more equitable and making life more viable for all of our citizens. So that is
Thank you very
always
much, sir.
what
Could
my
you
concern is.
before the chairman pops in on us, could you then elaborate a little bit on the point that was mentioned earlier,
Yeah.
so we can
Okay.
have a flavor of it?
Yeah. I was concerned because we had recently the whole country blackout from the failure of the utility grid that resulted in a total power outage from BTL, Belize Electric Limited, and so we keep wondering why we haven't been able to resolve this issue. This has been a 55-year issue going on with blackout, and there's no reason why Belize should be at this point. It is a lack of planning. It is a lack of foresight. It is a lack of knowledge to commit the resources and do whatever development plan is needed to bring the country forward. We have had the same chairman at the DL for the longest of time, and they still keep coming up with excuse, and they keep themselves still staying in the position, reaping big salary, and offering nothing to the people. So that's a real concern. You know, when you look at it, the production of electricity in Belize, I had written down some statistics on it, but it was so very low, so very low. We have countries that have that's 180 square miles,
Mm-hmm.
and like Barbados, and 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 they have so much more. They're producing at a population that's a third of ours, and they're producing as a country so much more electricity than Belize. So there's something wrong that's going on that we have consistently not been able to get a hold of. Our utility grid is exposed to weather. It is dinosaur. It is ill maintained. If you look at some of the infrastructure you see on even on Albert Street, the main thoroughfare of our country, the
Mm-hmm.
way some of these poles and stuff are jacked up. It seemed in some areas when I looked at them, the poles are still leaning from the last hurricane we have. Just the next bad wind that we were to get would take them out completely.
Mm-hmm.
It, it,
It's
it,
true. It's true.
it actually makes no
And it's
sense
sad.
what's going on and what they're using the money for. We have a purchase agreement for power with Mexico, and they have no real interest in selling us power, but we insist on buying from them, so they have given us a rate that is double the rate we're able to sell it for within the country. We're somewhere around 49 cents per kilowatt hour for electricity, and we're paying them at peak time sometimes quite double that amount, and therefore the government has to make up that with subsidy. We have bought the dams that were supposed to be turned over to us in a reasonable period of time, and and
With all the silt in there.
yes, yes, yeah, yeah. They're not properly maintained. They need servicing and maintenance. They need lots of service. I don't know what state any of the motors and stuff are in because they've been operating for so long. And in Belize we have a culture of not maintaining
Mm-hmm.
or stuff. So we don't know. They've been operating for some period of time, so we don't know really what state they're in, and what. And we made this purchase of almost 80 million
That is why
dollars.
they come. That is why Fortis wanted to sell it off to us because
Yeah,
at this point they would have given it to us for free for in another few years,
yeah,
and because they didn't want to invest any of their money into doing the maintenance that is going to be required with all that amount of silt over all those many years. The bottom of the dam is full of silt,
yeah. And
and it's
right
gonna mess
now
up the equipment.
yeah, right now where our energy use is like over 50%, 50, almost 60% is still being produced from diesel electricity. We
Mhm.
have some renewable, we have some solar. I think it is now less than 6%, and so we have hydro. We have the options to use some of the cane farmers' bagasse to help produce energy. But
Mr. Morrison, one of your earlier statements
mhm,
hit the nail squarely in the middle of the head of the nail. That is that management and planning are the two things that's causing us this problem for all these many decades after.
yeah,
You
yeah,
don't plan for the future. There's no extra supply made available because it's going to cost money, and they're not trying to have. When the year was being controlled by Fortis,
mhm,
because there was a time
mhm.
before when
But
BEL used to be
that's
controlled by the
almost
government.
that's almost 15 years ago. It
Yes,
has
but
it's
it's a
been in the
it's a
it's
pattern. What I'm trying to get at is the exact thing that you described, but I'm trying to point it out as a pattern in terms of the at the micro level, which is that when the EL used to own and control the system, They allow this company to come in and build the dam with the idea that they want to produce extra energy and we will be able to sell to Guatemala and other, you know, other Central American places. That was the grand concept. At the end of the day, now we are turning around now and they are talking about wanting to go and buy electricity from Guatemala. What the hell did we buy the dam for then? And why are we getting all these loans? For the last 10 years, we've been getting loans to procure additional equipment and to facilitate building up and producing more electricity. All these big hotels that are being built all over the place, and these big businesses, all these big buildings, they should have been planned for. You know, they are
Yeah,
still
I
producing the
think
electricity that
yeah,
we were producing with the little small 1 and 2 level board houses. You know,
yeah, yeah.
there's no plan,
No,
true plan.
we're far below, we're far below capacity. I don't know what, under what regime we ever thought we could sell power, because or dams and such was always on the margin. They are very cyclical. They are available when we have the rainy season, for the most part, and so they are not consistent with the summer peak when we have the highest demand for electricity. So I don't know under what scenario we thought we were going to be selling electricity to our neighbors. But
But now we're going to end up buying electricity from Guatemala.
y-
That's a
yeah,
national security issue.
no, yeah. Right now we're purchasing more than 50% of our electricity from
Mexico.
another country. So
Mhm.
there's a significant issue, and as I indicated, they're not. They have their own demand. They have their own development needs for their country, and so when they do sell us electricity, and it's not guaranteed that if they have local demands for their population, they will switch us off. So, and when they do sell us, it's at a very exorbitant rate. So we
Mhm.
need policies, we need programs, and we have been waiting for the government to put in play the solar program that they had talked about of 75,
Yeah,
77
they
um,
got money for that
MW. Well, I think
from
there was
multiple
a
sources.
conference. Yeah, they have gotten some money, and but what we have failed to do, while it is said we are waiting for the money from the AAU.
Sir, the government has recently acknowledged that they had repurposed the money that they got initially
Yeah,
for the program, and now
yeah,
they are
let me
trying to. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
yeah,
Please
yeah,
go ahead,
yeah.
sir.
No, we got some money, but what we have failed to do, and what we could do in this period while we are waiting for the grant to be processed and handed out, is to start identifying throughout the country locations where these solar arrays, solar farms can be put, whether it's on public land or private land that needs to be identified and acquired. Those are the things that we could do because our need is urgent. Our need for electricity is urgent. And so these are things that the government could be doing now while they wait for the funding to take shape. And by failing to do that,
Is-
it means we'll be waiting another 2 years after the money is identified to start planning and start installing the system when the need is so urgent and so immediate. If we cannot support a reliable power generating capacity, we're not going to attract foreign business. We are even going to stifle and stagnate our own local business.
that is
And
what's happening right now. That's
so it is
that's
very
exactly what's happening
important.
right now.
Yeah, it is. It is. So I'll let you go, Mr. Brackett. So,
No, sir. Please, both of us are electrical engineer, and we both know what we're talking about. And I'm enjoying what you're saying. So, and
okay.
you're saying it in a way that the average person have an opportunity to make sense of what you're trying to convey. So please continue,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So then it is important that we make that the government comes to some sense that the in the past we were able to attract and to get assistance for planning and development for the electric system, electric grid, the electric transmission distribution system from the IDB and the CDB, and they had and the UN. They had lent experts to Belize. If we, like our Prime Minister says, don't have the talent, because I don't know that it's necessarily a lack of talent. I
You and I know that that's not true.
Yeah,
That but
yeah,
anyhow,
yeah.
we
I
do have
it,
the
it
talent. We have talent outside here. We have talents back there that are capable of dealing with that. But they are not the people who are above the talents, who control the money movement and the political decision making to make these things come into existence,
yeah.
are unable and unwilling and incapable of allowing it to happen.
Yeah, it's a shame because after years and years of managing and running that statutory board or that corporation, it's no longer a statutory board.
It is
Um,
now statutory.
it is
It
still
came back. It came
okay.
back to yeah.
Okay, okay.
We now
Well,
control
after
it.
years and years of running that, the organization is less capable, in my view, and I think many holds it the same, less capable than it was.
Uh, I'm not hearing you, sir.
Yeah, no, I said
Oh,
it is less capable today than it was at independence, at the time when we were granted our independence. So we have fallen short in terms of trying to lift our country up and to provide one of the most basic national growth development needs, and that is reliable and sufficient electricity to serve the needs of our industries and to
but
provide the comfort
sorry.
for our families. Please go
But
ahead.
even worse than that, Mr. Morrison, the issue now that they're facing is the onerous way in which these people are billing the consumers. They're billing them 2 and 3 times their previous rates,
Yeah, well, that's a
and the
different
people
issue
can't and
than
the people
what
can't
I.
argue with them or debate with them or have no kind of discussion with them
Yeah,
about resolving that. A
yeah,
simple issue like that.
yeah.
It looks to me
Well,
like it's more deliberate
yeah.
than an oversight.
Okay. That's a different issue. The billing that does create some conflict and some issues as they had moved migrated to the digital metering. They had gotten a loan from the bank, from the international Caribbean banks, to move ahead and implement digital metering, which allows them to read those meters remotely rather than to have service people go around and read those meters. So the- there's a rate increase, there's a surcharge, there's for the fuel, the gap for fuel now. And so there are lots of things at play. And I believe they also indicate that the meters are reading more accurately than the analog meters they had in the past. So let me finish. So
The way,
let me finish just this
sorry.
point. So
Go
so
ahead, go ahead, sir.
it's
Go ahead.
clear what I'm saying.
Uh-huh.
So there may be some justifiable reasons why the cost that consumers are seeing today is in effect. We don't know yet because there haven't been a complete audit or assessment, but that's the story that they're telling. So
And
I'll let you go ahead
convenience
from that
story.
point. I'll let you go ahead from
Convenience
that point.
story. Thank you very much, sir. That's the convenience story that has been bantered around. You know, uh, it is true that there's a 1.5% surcharge that was added on, and then you had like the additional regular increase,
Rating, yeah,
that rate increase. So you'd have two things compounding there, but not by that much. Where a person bill at 1.5% plus what it was, I think it was a 7 or 9% increase in
yeah.
the you know that would probably at the most that would take them 10% above what they probably were using before, right? And let's
But
say
then
for
they also say the meters are more
yeah, no, no,
accurately.
I'm going to talk to that right now. That's where I was going. That
Okay.
stuff has been happening in here in America and a lot of different parts. In fact, in Africa, in part of India, the people in Ghana took off their meters from their houses and they're going and throw it at the ministries and so on to tell them they don't
But
want it.
we're not
You know,
advocating for that,
no, no,
Mr.
but
President.
I'm saying it's not just happening just in Belize alone. I perceive what's happening as skullduggery, that these people are taking advantage of the situation, and because the average consumer has no basis or means of validating or proving otherwise because they're charging them based on what has they're not paying ahead of time, then they're paying after the fact. So if they're telling them that they're charging them for what they thought they consume, there's no way the consumer can rebut that adequately. Taking that to court requires proof. So you're done if you do, and you're done if you don't. You get charged a price for something, and you can't get it nowhere else. And if you don't pay for it, they don't give you any more.
Yeah. Well,
And so
let me
therefore,
let me tell
huh?
let me tell you one of the things they
Chancing
said.
people, man.
No, I mean we need to be fair and we need to look at things with a clear vision. So I'm not so quick to say that. What
I
they
am.
what no, but no, we have to be fair and look at things because the real is real. What
Can
they have said,
I
what they
tell you
have
about
said.
what happened
Let,
in
let me
Belize?
finish. Let me finish. Let me finish.
Okay,
Let me
okay.
finish. What the chairman has said is that in the past they may have been really prorate not prorating but giving you an estimate of your reading on the on your bill and not actually going out there and taking an actual reading. So they were estimating, and then once they went and installed the new meter and they got the actual reading on the meter, it shows a complete difference than what those estimates were, and it was
That is,
significantly.
that is the
Let me
truth
finish.
this
Let me
time.
finish. Let me finish. And
Yes,
it
sir.
was no, because I want people to understand
Yes,
what
but
and not get into it with raw emotion and without the knowledge of what's going on.
I,
At least we could explain it to
I
them,
wanted to
and
explain
they
to
would.
you or say to you
Let
what
me
I
finish. Let
found
me
out on
finish.
a
Let me
personal
finish, and I'll
experience.
give you
But
the
go
whole
ahead.
floor
Go
to
ahead.
speak of it.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Um, so they indicated that what was going on was that they had made estimates for some period of time without doing actual reading.
Uh-huh.
When
No,
they
you're
went
correct.
out and did the actual reading and replaced the meter, they showed that the charges they were had made in the past was undercharged. And
Uh,
then maybe let me finish. Maybe unfortunately they're billing these people at these new rate. I don't know if they said, okay, the we shouldn't be billing you at the new rate based on the surcharge and the 1.7% increase and all that. But that all has something to play with it, and that's why I was going to go. Maybe they should have prorated some of those charges when they have to do those back charges. But there is some validity to what they're saying because that occurs with meter reading in many countries. Even in the United States, at one time, they didn't come out regularly, and they give
Let me
you
get a
an
couple of statements
estimate.
on Belize itself.
Okay.
I want to keep it local at least, because I don't want to stray too far. Um,
Hmm.
as regards to Belize itself, I could tell you on personal experience. Okay, as an electrical engineer, that I had to go to the electrical be to the electricity board to go and haggle with them about some bills that I was paying for some of my relatives. I was living in a house there for over a period of time. I think it was like I was there for like 5 months at one time, and over that period of time, which is not during this time now that they're doing with the new meter. So let me put that new meter thing apart. I wanted to address that, but I found out that there were people inside the electricity department that was actually what you call embezzling money out of the department itself. Okay, that's what I found out on my personal experience and information. And I took it to them to the point where they had to acknowledge what I was pointing out to them as having merit, and then they reversed. Okay, so I didn't take it any further. I had no need to, but I was not the only person or the only uh, um, um, consumer that I personally believe they are treated like that, because a lot of other people never had the muster that I had, or the spunk or the ability to be able to, prove them wrong. And so they have been doing that kind of crap to people for decades now, that, as
But
far as I'm
but but
concerned.
Mr.
But
Brackett,
I'm
you
saying to you,
mixing.
make I come back. You didn't let me chip in when I wanted to point out to you about the meters. As regards to the meters didn't get just put in last week or last month or last cycle. Those meters are in now for years.
No, the new meters are just being installed. They are rolled out. You can't do it all at once, but they're talking about what people are experiencing as this rollout happens.
Yes, but what
So,
I'm saying to
so
you then, if that was to be true, if that was to be given legitimate credence, it
well,
would have shown up from before now. Is my
I,
point.
I think I think it's a convenience
That's
issue.
a singular point. That's a singular point. If they have been
Maybe
installing those
Mr.
meters
Brackett,
for so many
maybe
years, even if it was
Mr.
little at
Brackett.
a time,
No,
the
no,
first ones then
I
that they
think
did would have shown that same evidence. It wouldn't just pop up. Everybody's having the same problem today at the same time, and the
yeah.
meters are not reading the same, or people are not getting the same kind of billing. Like they'll get maybe 1.5 times what they were doing before, or maybe 2 times what they were doing before. They're getting three times
But
and four
you're
times.
looking at something different. I'm saying what happened now. We don't know at what point there. Maybe they didn't read the meter for 3 months. Maybe in the past they had more regular, and the interval. Let me finish. And the interval of not reading was not so long, and therefore when you need to make up the gap of what the reading of usage is was less. So there are lots of possible explanation. I'm not. I
Mr.
mean, I'm
Morrison,
not thinking. I'm not
I,
thinking that. Let
I'm
me
not
finish.
I'm not
Let me
taking
finish.
away from your perspective, sir, but I'm trying to render my own perspective side by side with yours, and I'm
No,
not
but you're
inclined to
colluding. You're
exculpate.
colluding.
Wait, that's
You're
I'm going there.
colluding
I'm going there. Let me say it.
embezzlement.
Let me say it in my own words. I'm not inclined to render any exculpatory support to these activities when I damn well know personally I have experienced some of
Yeah,
what's going on. I'm not, it's just happened now as it's blown out
yeah,
as a big
yeah.
issue,
And
right?
and and I understand what you're saying, but you're mixing
I'm not
up.
going to be an apologist for this bunch of criminals that I know that
And I won't
doing
either.
wrongdoing.
I won't
You know,
either. But you're mixing up private
I'm telling you
embezzlement.
experience.
Yeah, but
And the
you're
whole
mixing.
effort was to embezzle money out of the department. A lot of we government departments are being embezzled. Cash is being embezzled from the department by people in the higher up levels.
No, nobody is doubting that,
Okay,
Mr. Brackett. We know those things
I
happen.
know about that in
We, we, we know people
I
that
know about
says
that.
that.
I know
We
about
know
that
people.
in the uh, no, no, oh man, immigration department. Okay, I know about it in the vital statistics office department.
We know it in
I
the
know
land
about people who
department.
get envelopes of brown envelopes with money in there and documentations that they provide for other people that belong to identity that belongs to. In fact, I know about it. No, I can't go that far.
But
I mean, I'm really waste of
Mr.
it.
Brackett, Mr. Brackett,
I gotta hold it. I gotta be
I want
careful.
to I want to keep I
Because
want to keep I want to keep private individual embezzlement separate from the
from the
functioning of
mass,
whatever may be
they have gotten
happening.
so bold now that they're
No,
doing
no,
it en
let
mass.
me. No, you can, and there must be private and individual investment away from the actual operation of the corporation and the charges and the issues that's going on with the meter reading. We can't throw everything in there and make sense of it or try to or understand or be able to reasonably explain
So,
what's
Mr.
going
Morrison,
on and
you think
stuff.
these people are helping themselves then? I mean, when I say like that, I mean like in other words, you think they can provide any of the evidence to exculpate themselves, you know, or to be exculpated?
No, all I'm saying.
You the individual who is aggrieved and who has this experience has to be the one to provide the evidence based on your own personal experience with them. Other than that, you could be talking about what they're doing and you could surmise what you think they're doing or not doing. They have the evidence to back up what they're doing. They're levying a charge on the population, and each of those bills that they send in has a basis on why is it that they arrive at that conclusion for that bill. The consumer has no such possibility of um, arguing against that bill because the bill is sent based on the process, procedures, protocols, and standards and practices of the different departments. They have all the evidence on their side, and everything that they move, in terms of determining how much you owe or not owe, or how much
Yeah,
you want to pay. Right here, okay,
I'm,
right
I'm,
here,
I'm not
I'm
trying.
sitting, I'm
I'm
sitting
not.
down right here now. I want to show you something. Wait,
I'm not
wait,
trying to
wait, wait.
excuse.
I
I'm
want to
not
show you
trying to
something. I
excuse.
want to
I'm
show
not
you.
trying to
Yeah,
excuse any of it.
you see this letter right? That's where I put up. Yeah,
Yeah.
PG and E.
Hmm.
You know how much time these jackals? I think I
I'm
think
not trying. I'm not in defense or trying to
look at
accuse. I'm trying to
the thing about
explain.
the
I'm
elephant there.
trying to explain so that people have an understanding and have
I
the
understand you. I understand you.
merit of what is wrong. And and if they can
But Mr.
contest and
Morrison,
say,
I understand your point, and your point is well taken, and I think it's very valid and deserves to be, for the public, for the public knowledge and experience and understanding. It helps the public to be able to realize that it's not just a bill based on somebody just plugging in some numbers so that they could take back the difference and just play with the system. No, it has merits, and I agree with you. The regular raise where the PUC gave them, along with the previous price, and along with the change in the price of the fuel that has been going up and down, back and forth, and then now with this next 1.5%, I'm saying if you add that 1.5%, the
no,
9%
but I'm
that the
telling you where
PUC
the
gave them,
difference
and
is.
then you add up all those things together, plus you add the fact that maybe, okay, the previous meters them were reading different than the current meters them, okay, because nobody went out and was, because I'll tell you, I know households in Belize right now as we're having this discussion, where the people living in the houses them there are, every month they're having beef with the water meter reading people them, with the electrical reading thing. They always mess with them and bills, and every time it's just a chancing process.
Well,
Okay, and I just
Mr. Brackett, you and
when we
I
did,
know, that there isn't a manner and way that someone could, in some reasonable way, change your meter reading and remotely. Because it is a meter. It measures what passed through it, whether it's water, whether it's electricity, and there might be some clandestine way of doing that. I don't see a benefit for them, for a corporation to do that. That would set them all on fire, because any employee could come out and say they're um, mishandling the meters and the reading. So I don't think that is happening. I think the more reasonable explanation is that for a long time they were giving an estimate, and now that they are there replacing the meters and actually getting a reading, they're finding a big gap, and they're back charging you for those differences that they did not account for
all of
before.
that is skullduggery. I don't accept that
Well,
premise. I see that as
well,
skullduggery.
that's not skullduggery. That's the
uh,
fact.
no, 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 no.
As
If,
far as I understand,
if that was
I'm
to
a
be
guy of
true, if that
science.
was to be true, I would accept it as being viable. But I happen to know it's not true, and I don't think that we're supposed to, or at least we should be finding the excuses for these knuckleheads
No, I'm
and
not
charging
finding
people.
excuse.
Okay,
I'm explaining the
I'm not going
science
that
of it.
far.
No, I'm just explaining the science of it as I
I see.
understand.
Greg is in the Mr. Brackett is in the background. This and
Yeah,
he could beat himself out when he read it.
yeah,
So
yeah.
I'll
I'm
just
just
let him do
explaining
that.
the science of it as I
I yield back to
understand
you,
it.
sir. I yield back to
Yeah,
you.
yeah,
I cut
yeah.
you across
So
just now in
no,
the
no,
middle of
that's
a
fine.
thought.
That's fine. We're going back and forth.
Okay,
I'm just
go right
explaining
ahead, sir.
the science of it as I understand how the meter reading is, how they are making the adjustment, and why for some individuals they're finding that their bill went from 100 to $800. The
But
problem I think,
I knocked on a straw man just now already, Mr. Morrison.
no,
By
you
telling
didn't
you
knock
that
that down. You didn't knock that down.
while it has merits, if
It
it
has
was
all the
true,
merit. It has all the merit, Mr.
you're
Brackett.
trying to give it the merits, you know.
No, I'm giving you the
But watch out.
facts. I'm giving you the facts.
As an engineer, if them guys may really want to get themselves out of the trouble when they're in right now, I wouldn't have any doubts if they knew that you were, as an engineer, someone who knows what you're talking about, would be available to explain what the, the same situation that you're explaining right now on this show, that you could explain to the rest of the people at Belize on behalf of BEL right now. They'll be happy to send you a ticket and bring you home and make you go explain the way you explain it, because it makes a lot of sense.
Bro,
Help, it
I don't
helps.
want I don't want those Belize people to stone me. But I'm telling them what are the facts that causes it to show this gap? But what I wanted to point out,
not that. Let's say,
let,
let's say
let me let me get
let's
the
say
point.
like 120% or 150%. Let's
No,
say
but
even 100%, Mr. Morrison. I would go all the way there to say even if it was 100%,
but
I
you
would
you
concede that as a
you're missing
possibility.
the main point, and I'm trying to get to the point why what adjustment they can make. What I'm saying is, if your meter reading was missing by so many hundreds um, kilowatt hours of charge because they did not read it for a 3 month period and was just giving you an
I'm saying
estimate.
that
But
your presumption is not.
let me get something a point across. I want to get
Uh,
one point
yeah,
across.
go ahead, please.
Where BEL is really messing the people is that for those 2 months or those months of that difference, they should only be charging you now for what the current is at the current inflated rate, which includes the new taxes, the surcharge, and the new rate. If they were to charge people for those old 2 months bill that they didn't properly or maybe extended from when they last actually read the meter, if they were to charge the people at that older rate, then they would be the people
But
would get. Let me
your
finish. Let me
presumption,
finish.
the base for your presumption is not viable. I'm trying to say it to you.
That's what they are. That's their
I'm trying to say
explanation,
that to
Mister.
you because
That's
we argue
that.
this point or discuss this
Yeah.
point right now for the benefit of the public, and I'm trying to say to you, and I hope the people will
That
hear
is
what I
that
say.
is a viable explanation and understanding of it.
I,
It it
it's not
it
impossible. Remember my point, right? My point is that what you're saying has its own merits, but within the context of really what's happening on the ground. What's happening on the ground is just what used to happen before on steroids. No, that's all I'm trying to say to you. The fact
yes.
that we have new meters, and not just today and put in new meter, or yesterday, or last week, or last month. The whole country have been running on new meters for quite a while now. And
They're
even if
just getting.
and
They're
again,
just
even if they may
putting.
just even if this may happen when they may just start, right? And because they switch in the beginning when they first start putting the new meters, this would have shown up because the same scenario would have shown up saying what
Mr.
was
Brackett,
before,
Mr.
they
Brackett,
didn't read
you're
before,
missing an
and
important
what's the
point. I
new
don't know
meter
why you're
reading now
ignoring it. I
is
don't know why
correct.
you're ignoring it.
Good night, gentlemen.
Good night, sir. You're missing
Good
an
night.
important point. Let me just bring this point.
Maybe give everyone this chance to self-identify now, and then we could get into the finish up the discussion.
No, he'll take over after we finish, isn't he? Sure. He's
No,
the
no, no.
chairman.
It's no. It's Mr. Wade, but
Oh,
Mr. Wade
okay.
just go.
Good night,
So we
Mr.
can
Good
just
night,
go.
Mr. Brackett, Gregory
Uh,
Brackett.
and just go ahead. Greg, did you
Good
just?
night, gentlemen. Good night, people at home and abroad. Thanking you to tune in to this, our 479th edition of Belizean Affairs. Gentlemen, I thank you guys for sitting virtually with me. I go back to you guys.
You're welcome, sir. And
Thank
I
you.
don't know how
Thank
much of what we were discussing you had heard in the background, but Mr. Morrison had a point that he was still trying to stay on. So I have to yield back to him, no, because I, I busted on him in the middle of his start, and
you. Yeah,
I
yeah,
need to yield back.
I did heard it.
Okay.
yeah. Thank you.
I
Um,
did heard it. Go ahead,
Okay. Well,
Mr. Morrison.
yeah. Okay. Oh, sorry. Yeah, make it close out the thought, no?
yeah,
Because say it was in
yeah,
the middle of it,
yeah.
and then we go to
So,
you.
so, yeah.
And
So I'll
I
just
don't,
get.
and I don't rebut him anymore. I just let it go to you, okay? For right
No,
now.
that's fine. No, that's fine. I'll just take a minute more and then I'll get back to you, Mr. Gregory Brackett. All I'm saying is that all we can go from, or all that I can go from, is the explanation that the chairman gave as reasoning why some people are experiencing an extraordinary bill that is 3 times their normal. He said that for some customers, they did not read the meter for some extended period of time and they were using estimates. Once they went and replace the new meter and have the reading of the old meter, they had to make the adjustment for what that meter reading was. What I'm saying, the price they're giving the people are inflated because it's based on today's current rate. It's not based on before that rate increase got applied. It is not based on the fuel. It is based on the new fuel charge. And so if you had 200 kW that they didn't charge you for that was in arrears, they're applying the new rate to it. If they were to let me
Sir,
finish,
sir,
let me
but
finish, let me finish.
that's not what's happening though. I mean, they never said that's the excuse that they're trying to use.
He said
You're
that's
trying to
what he
exclude
said.
these
No,
jackals.
no, no. I'm
Can you
gonna
give him a chance to speak? I want to hear what he's saying.
Go ahead.
that's what the chairman says. That's what I understood him to have said, and that makes sense to me. That what he said, why the difference in reading. What I'm trying to say, they could
One and a half
mitigate.
percent
Can
and
you
nine
give him
percent.
a chance to
Wait,
speak,
wait, wait.
sir?
Let's be specific. 1.5% surcharge and the 7 to 9% that was outstanding because of what PUC had authorized. Plus, whatever is it that they could add up, no one double or triple or quadruple nobody's bill. It's just incredible.
Okay, Mr. Brackett,
That's all I'm trying to say.
I won't say anymore because I think I explained it enough why because the gap in what the meter reading was for the versus the current gap. I was only trying to explain how the Belize Electric Limited could have been more fair with the people by not charging them the current rate and charging them based on what it would have been 2 or 3 months ago when the meter was last read, and then just charge them the average
I
of
was not
what they are
I was not
using now.
rebutting you on that point. I was not
Thank
rebutting
you.
you on that
Thank
point.
you.
This is the
Thank
point
you
that I
very
was
much.
trying to convey to you.
I'm
On
finished.
those points, if those points was to be true, let's assume that they are true. The bill still would not go 2 and 3 and 4 times the amount.
Yes, it will, Mr.
It could
Brackett.
not.
Mr.
Sir,
Brackett,
wait,
let's say,
Can I
sir,
get a chance to speak on
wait,
this topic?
just a minute.
Because you guys are back and forth.
Let me get my chance to speak on the point.
But you were speaking on it.
Greg, just a minute. I'm trying
Go
to
ahead,
I'm trying
sir.
to point out something to Mr. Morrison. Okay, the way any meter exchange or renewal of meter or exchange of meter would occur is that whenever the service person goes out to replace the meter, the old meter for the new meter, they will take and register the last known
we know that,
numbers.
Mr.
Wait,
Brackett.
wait,
We
man,
know that.
wait. The last known numbers on the previous meter that is being moved for the new meter. And on that last known number, they will charge you up to that point because that's what they would presume that you were legally responsible for paying for on your next bill. And they'll start at a baseline, whatever number they use as the new baseline, as the basis for the new charges that they're going to add up together, the old outstanding bill and the new bill for the next reporting or payment period. That's how it operates, okay? And at the end of the day, even if they were to be charging
No,
them,
I'm not disputing that.
well, you,
That's not where my
I wouldn't expect for you
disagreement is.
I would not expect for you to dispute it because what I'm saying is exactly the way how it works. And I'm trying to explain that to say that moving of an old meter with a number at the time that they could register and record when they move the meter and put in a new meter with whatever numbers they want to start from as the new starting point to whatever the new reading will be at the end of that particular period of reading will not triple and quadruple nobody's bill. That's what I'm trying to say to you. The fact is, wait,
If the deficit of kilowatt hours was high, it will cause that sort of change. If, for example, your meter when they last read it was 10,000, and when they come and read it now, it is 12,000, and they had only charged you for 11,000, you have 1,000 of kilowatt hours that you did not get charged for. So now, when you multiply that at the current rate and all the other increases, it
how
gives
would
the people.
Mr. Morrison, how can that happen if the person that goes out and carry a new meter to replace an old meter
What did
has
you
to
say?
record the old meter's last
Oh,
number?
what nobody's.
Those
Of
are part
course,
of the records
why are you saying that? You
because
speaking
that's part of the
that.
process, and that's how you know the
Oh my
difference.
God,
That if you have
I'm confounded with you, Mr. Brackett.
Mr. Morrison, I'm telling you, when the linesman go out there to the house to replace that meter,
Mr. Brackett, I know that. That's
it is
not
just
what
about
I'm
the.
saying. That's not what I'm saying. And I'm sorry, Mr. Gregory
That's why I'm
Brackett,
telling you that
because I'm going to
we're
say this and I'm not going to say
Is
it
this what
anymore.
the topic will be, gentlemen?
No,
No.
we were just filling in until the chairman would have showed up. No, we just
Because we have 15 minutes more to the time.
What time?
uh, well, you just came on, Greg, so we could give you all the extra time if you need some.
Yeah.
But anyhow,
Yeah.
let
I,
me
I,
yield to you back, no, because
I don't have any more to say on
I
that.
I know that
want to say this to
I know that
both of
Mr.
you
Morrison,
guys.
they get my point.
I disagree with both of you. If you really want to know what is happening,
Okay, please.
because technology, I don't need no one to explain or tell me about it. I'm well informed and well been in it. The changing of the meter is, as my cousins say, and the reading. That is not why the bill is high, and I can tell you that personally.
I was not saying that that's the reason why it's
Okay?
high, right? I just point that out as a fact.
Let me
But go
give you
ahead.
an example,
Go ahead.
Mr.
Finish.
Morrison.
Go ahead, sir.
Yeah.
They read my meter every 14th of the month or every 15th.
Hmm.
With the new smart meter, they don't have to come out. It is read in the office.
Yes.
All right?
Yes.
I give
We
you a
know that.
prime example. My last month's bill or the month before last month bill, let's say for instance I burn 50 kilowatts. My charge for that 50 kilowatts was $92.
Hmm.
My next month's bill after they did the reading was 47 kilowatts,
Hmm.
not 50.
Yeah.
And when I look at my bill, I'm paying $97
Hmm.
for 47 kilowatts, where in my previous reading, I burned 50 kilowatts and paid $92.
Hmm.
Can they explain that to me? No,
Well,
because
they can because there's the rate increase. That's what explains that.
no,
No,
it
The
no,
don't,
rate
Mr.
it gone
Morrison.
down.
I'm
It gone
quite
down.
aware. Listen to
it
what
went
I'm
down, but
telling
the rate
you.
went up. It went down,
Mr.
but the rate went
Morrison,
up.
I do read my meter smart or not. You subtract your current rate that you burned from your previous. I will tell you what they're doing. My last reading, which is for the month of June, let me tell you what happened. My last reading that they took at the on the 14th, it runs 14 to 14.
Hmm.
Was the
The
was that
present reading,
a question, Greg? A question before we go forward. The last bill, reading where the clock out right now, right? Was
mhm,
that on the old meter or on the new
it's
meter
new
itself?
meter. They
Okay,
all
so how long
install
ago
new
they
meter.
put in the new meters? How long
They
ago,
put in the new
more or
meters
less?
about 4 or 5 months ago. All
Okay,
right.
okay. That's
But
go ahead.
listen to
Go ahead.
me, Mr.
Go,
Morrison.
Yes.
Now I have a different bill that is way above the 92, 97 I used to pay.
Hmm.
It's way at 138. But what I saw happen, right?
Hmm.
They just told me the amount of kilowatts I burned was 1157.
Hmm.
How they reach out that? They are not showing the number that
Hmm.
you're supposed to subtract from your previous reading. So I believe that was an estimate. So they are estimating people,
Yes.
and that
correctly.
is how you are getting high electrical bill.
Yeah.
I wrote them an email asking them to produce the figures
They can't.
Hmm.
for my reading on the 14th or the 15th, and they're not doing that.
They can't.
Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something because I deal with this every day and I read electric bills and meters for my clients every single day. there is different charge rate based on, you could have less hours, but if you burn it within that critical peak load
Mm-hmm.
period, there's a
Mm-hmm.
higher rate that they charge you. So it is not always based on the kilowatt hours specifically, but the usage. And it also depends on what they call a power factor charge. If you have large motors that you're running, that you have a drill or something in your house, you're doing little mechanic work or such, those have tack on additional charges to your kilowatt hours that when
Because
the
of the
when
amount
the
of
Mr. Morrison,
because of the amount of
I
system
understand
too.
what you are saying,
no,
sir.
no, I'm just saying
Believe
there's
me,
no, no, no,
believe me,
I'm just saying,
I am an expert at reading meters.
yeah, yeah, but I'm
The
just giving you the
first 50
underlying.
kilowatts, you have a low rate. When you reach 100, it's a second rate. And when you go above 100, you are being charged an excess rate.
Yes,
What I'm
but
saying to
also but
you,
also
it
within
is
that,
simple, Mr.
no,
Morrison.
it's not that
It is
simple, Mr.
simple for them to
Mr. Brackett.
overcharge you, you know. Because let me say this to you. If my meter is read on the 14th, and the 14th falls on a weekend that is a holiday, or on a day that is a holiday that they don't come, and they read it on the 15th or the 16th, you know
Hmm.
what happened? They just put me in a higher category for kilowatts,
Yeah,
and you will pay that excess amount of money
yeah, yeah. No.
because it will trigger you
Well, no,
above the
you won't have
100.
that since you
But
won't have that since it's read electronically now. But what I'm trying to tell you is that they have those very raw figures. That's just for you to. But there's also these other charges that I'm trying to let you understand that
But
exist.
the
so
bill shows you I have all those charge manual, which is a placard from BL to show you all the rate.
Okay.
You are only taxed on your bill once you go over a certain amount.
Yeah. Okay.
So I'm well aware of it. But I
But
want to also say this, that what the CEO is saying is phony baloney. But some people have bill they don't know of. Because the smart meters are read by computers, and the computers are set at a certain time, and the computers can give bad reading. And they can't tell me that because I'm an expert at computers. I build them, I function them, I do everything with them. They're not fooling me.
okay.
All right? But anyway,
You know, you
gentlemen,
know, if you
one
if you if
statement.
you're
Can
a
I can I
pilot, if
can I make
if
a
you're a
statement?
pilot and you're gonna let the plane fly with automatic control, you gotta let go the handle and let the automatic controls autopilot control the plane. If you try to during the landing pull the gears and the stuff,
Mr. Mr.
you're gonna
Morrison,
crash the plane.
yeah, can
So
I make
I
a quick
rely
statement?
on the
Yeah,
technology.
I think Greg have something else that maybe he wanted to bring in, no? And so can I get a short, quick statement before he does? What I was trying to say earlier, Mr. Morrison, I accept all the premise of everything that you had indicated earlier because all of those are plausible, okay? But I was my contention in the way it was being put is that it seemed more to me from my vantage point and my personal experience and knowledge about the whole process is that you're making a statement that lends itself to exculpating these guys. And you yourself
I
confess that you
thought
don't
we
wait.
went by
You
that, Mr.
wait,
Brackett.
man.
Honestly, you
Wait,
coming back
wait,
with the same
wait,
thing.
wait. And you yourself said that you wasn't sure that that was the case, but you're insisting in trying to use that premise to knock down the premise of what I was conveying to you in terms of the actual reality of how the things is operating. And how it operates is exactly as I told you just now. In Belizean, do it a little different than out here, okay? To start with. But that's not even here nor there. My real problem is the size or the variance of the change from one reading to the next. When in fact those meters had been in long before this last reading came out. They would have been able to pick up that
They're
difference or
just
variance
putting in the
long before
meters for
now.
different customers, Mr. Brackett. Not every they start rolling it out about 5, 6 months ago. It's a process where people are now getting these meters. People are now complaining about it because life is tougher. Everything is tougher. And then a new rate scheme came in the last month. The PUC
Belizean people
approved
they get
that.
electricity from electricity board for decades now, sir.
Oh God.
Okay, then they get them bills for decades. They
I
have had
used to deliver
changes.
like Billy now.
Okay,
I
uh,
used to. I don't know if you remember Mr. John Stain that was in charge of the delivery, and Mr. Marsden Stain, Marsden Skeen, Mr. Marsden Skeen, that was in charge of the um, of the electricity board, um, light bill distribution. But I used to work with them. I used to
well,
deliver light bill.
I used to teach electrical engineering at
Mhm.
vocational training school. Remember that place when they called vocational training school?
Yeah, yeah, I
When
remember.
it's close by hostel. And when I 1965, I started teach electrical engineering back there, and
Okay.
I got my first electrical license from Belize Electrical
Electrical
Board
board.
in 1970. After I graduated from technical college, I got and I get my license. I was
Mhm.
the person who were the Belmopan Civic Center, put in all the wiring for the whole project, put in the lightning protection systems. I put in the false ceiling. I put in all the lights. I did Dr. Lizama House. I did 14 Miles Motel. I did a lot of different projects from Belize before I came out here. Right? I came out here and I worked with major corporation. Multi-building, 40 stories and 50 stories building. Designing the electrical and security systems for them. But back then, I tell you from way back then till now, I show one bill just now. I tell her something about that, right? But I decided to not say it from here, right? No, because all of me, I do that, say something about the way I was saying it in the wrong way, right? And I don't want to do that. So that's why I back off of that just now. But the bottom line is that I don't try provide no excuses for these guys because I know them to be some bunch of jackals, okay? I know because I don't know what they do or because what they do is either right or wrong. At the talk about the part one and the chance people outrightly and because people don't have money
Gentlemen, if
don't
that
meet
will
first.
be you guys' topic, I'm gonna
No, no,
leave
no.
you guys
No,
at
no.
that.
No,
I'm
man,
gonna
go ahead.
play one video for you guys to continue that conversation.
Go ahead, go ahead.
It's a comment that started a social media storm. In Monday's joint press conference with BEL and the Ministry of Public Utilities, Michelle Shabat said this.
As you know, we have expanded free education throughout this country. We have increased minimum wage, and we promised to increase it to $6. And so that I think the discussion with the business community in that direction needs to be intensified. We have also spread and increased the NHI coverage throughout the country. And so what we're hoping is that when our citizens don't have to pay the cost of these things, they're going to have monies to be able to pay the other things that they're facing with. But it is difficult. It is difficult when a single mother comes to you and say, listen, I have 3 kids, the school is that, I can't pay my electricity bill. Those are difficult circumstances, and we need to address it in a very serious way.
What made it worse is that Shabat then doubled down on the comment.
But you're also saying you need to rob from Peter for pay Paul. You don't have to pay medical anymore. Go pay BL.
It's not robbing Jews, it's taking away the cost of these things from the consumer so that they have extra money in their pocket to face these other circumstances.
That then launched a frenzy of social media posts and comments calling out the minister for being tone deaf. Many comments also suggested that the ministers should sacrifice their salaries and allowances, even living on minimum wage. Others lamented that NHI provides minimum savings and the free education isn't actually free. But mostly, people were appalled that Shabat expected them to take the little they might be saving and spend on yet another bill. Courtney Menzies, 7 News.
There you go, gentlemen. You can continue the process. I see the time is at 1:29. You
Mr.
guys can
Brackett.
finish that discussion.
No, Mr.
Greg,
Brackett. Could you
Greg,
play the rest of the tape where Mr. Young came on and spoke?
all them guys, they bamboozle the Belizean people. There are some bunch of chancy people, man. But anyhow,
Do you have the portion where Mr. Young spoke, Mr. Brackett?
No, sir, not at time.
Mr. Young smart than where he come off being, okay, or acting as. Man, just take us all for a bunch of idiots.
Don't go, Mr. Brackett. What were you wanting to talk about?
I want to say this about this fool that just spoke just now. This is the AHU signer SI number 36 of 2026 to froze BTL assets for them to try to take over SMART. And here he is now passing this stupid comment.
He's a gunslinger.
Right.
He's a gunslinger for the highest paid. Anyhow, make a shit. Wow, get in that trouble. Go ahead, man. Greg, I thought he was presenting something there. Go through, Greg.
No, what I want to do, because we're low on time, I want to show you guys and the people at home what is happening in Belize. Literally, every time this political party get into government, it's about nationalization, privatization.
The big hustle.
And private public. And every time they do this, the key word is they have consultation, and they never do. Never. Let me take you back to a tape from the BTL saga. Listen to this, the Prime Minister.
I respected their views, but we from the cabinet, we've made a determination that we're going to invite these two, because these are the two main entities that I've been speaking about. The chamber as the business representative for the business community, and the NTUCB as representative for labor. So we want to hear from business and labor. And so I respect their position, but at the same time, I hope that you respect our position.
They say
okay? Thank you very much.
Must include all of them. So will the meeting go on or not? Without?
Well, it's up to them. We have invited them.
And
we have invited
not NIAB.
That we have invited them, right? Listen to this.
He's a liar.
We have submitted, as I said, a detailed position paper on SARA, what it should look like, what it should entail. They called us to that meeting in May. And as the sister has just said, nobody could answer any question in that meeting. Nobody could answer because everybody washed their hand off of the bill. The bill was never given to us. So let me use this as a teaching moment for the Prime Minister. The Financial Secretary, the Director General, or somebody that gave you advice misled you and were not being truthful to you. A PowerPoint presentation was presented, and I think our press release on Thursday explicitly gave the timelines of what really occurred since this matter arose. We established the Project Steering Committee. At that meeting, they brought the draft UR for the committee that was supposed to engage in the consultation. My brother, we have not met, we have not had a single meeting since that meeting.
The committee?
The committee has not met. We have not even agreed on the TUR.
Yes.
We have not agreed on the terms of reference for the committee, much less agree on even having a conversation on the bill.
So is that then to say that even bringing the bill for debate in the House is premature?
It's
Exactly.
premature.
Yes,
These
it is.
people, they behave like dictators.
Go again.
you got Greg, you kill me, man.
And this is what happened today, sad to say.
You should never be leading an institution like this when you don't look after the best interest of your staff. You go in a committee meeting and tell them people we don't have nothing to say, we not send no nothing, we not shame on ourselves. And if the government have any sense, they want ask you to resign, step down and go home.
We shall not be moved just like a tree that's planted by the waters. We shall not be moved.
Gentlemen and people at home and abroad, all tax department in Belize walk out today. That is what happened today. Because the government is trying to push through legislation without consultation. It's not the first and it will not be the last time. Because this is exactly the same thing has been done to the PCC Act that they told the people they would come back and ask them what they want to put in and what they want to take out. That bill is before the House. They have never came back to the public.
Because they're a bunch of rogue operators, scofflaws. They don't abide by no laws. They don't recognize the authority of laws above them. Whatever comes out of their head is the law. But my point is that these guys don't want to do what the Constitution calls consultation. When the Constitution speaks to the issue of consultation, they're talking about where people have the opportunity to say yea or nay as a minimum in regards to any particular issue that is of national importance. That they, the cabinet or the government or the legislator, cannot take those powers away from the people or the authority from the people before they come to the people with those matters under the People's Representation Act. They are mandated to do so. But these bunch of rogue operators have been bamboozling the Belizean people into let them believe that they have the authority to do just about anything that they want with the system, including changing the whole damn system. Okay? And that's what they're heading for. And by the time Belizean people wake up to realize what the hell we're into, it will be too late to change it or do anything about it in terms of remedying it.
You are right on that, Mr. Brackett. Mr. Morrison.
These guys are doing is a power play of maximum powers to themselves, not to us and for our interest.
And you know what, Mr. Brackett? I will show you, I will prove it tonight how far they will go. Mr. Morris, let me hear you on what was played and this conversation.
We can all agree that the government is acting in an arrogant and non-consultation way in dealing with the public. We see the arrogance so much. But I don't want to bewilder that more. I want to point examples of what they're doing, because we had the Prime Minister go off to Honduras, and I don't think he let the people know what was going on. That I think he said he was going, but we going off to Honduras to talk to the leaders there. I think it needs proper briefing, and they need to set an agenda of what they hope to accomplish before they go. And because Honduras has this claim against our country, they claim our Sapodilla Keys.
Mm-hmm.
And we're in the International Court of Justice right now.
Section 27 of the Constitution forbidding
trying to defend and protect our territory. And he went over there and boastingly says, we have many Honduran citizens that are Belizean citizens. This is contrary to our laws and our constitution, because it says that any country that claims our country, their citizens cannot be granted citizenship of our country. So all this that he was saying, and then he made the arrogant behavior of speaking in Spanish when the official language of our country is English. So there's all these conflict and these things that is going on that is just unsettling. I don't know where to really go with it, Mr. Chairman, but I just have to express my frustration.
Mr. Morrison, he went farther than that. They are talking about buying power from Guatemala. Now imagine.
Yeah. Every time these guys go to have meetings with these people, whether Mexico, Guatemala, Honduras, or wherever they say they go, they always sign agreements on behalf of we country and in we country name. And many a time we not get to find out what those agreements are until when we have to deal with negative outcomes. By then, we're already locked into the agreement. They are signed, sealed, and delivered in our name. That's why when they go on these meetings, in the first place, they don't even say when they're going. And when they come back, they sneak back into the country and they don't report to nobody. And when the reporters are trying to ask them what they were talking about or what agreement, they close lips and zip up their lip. It's a constant process. It's not oversight, omission, or mistake. It's a deliberate process. That's how they operate. They're like a cancer in our society. And we are to be blamed for keep on editing them repeatedly. And then at such large margins.
You are correct. You are correct, Mr. Brackett. I want to show you how far they go, people at home and abroad, and gentlemen. Just to go back in time, listen to this.
The ongoing redivision of electoral boundaries remains one of the most important undertakings at this time. This exercise reviews and updates constituency boundaries to reflect changes in population and settlement patterns across the country. It involves data analysis, mapping, and consultation to ensure that electoral divisions are properly structured and administratively sound. This work continues with careful attention as it directly shapes how representation is organized across Belize. In preparation for the 2027 March municipal elections, the department continues to coordinate and deliver the systems required for a smooth and credible process. Each phase of election readiness receives focused attention to ensure that Belizeans participate in an environment that is orderly, transparent, and accessible. Mr. Speaker, this renewed mandate has now been issued by the Prime Minister, and the Election and Boundaries Commission is committed to completing this exercise of the 31 divisions by the end of this year.
Okay. How much did you keep?
Gentlemen, you heard that, and I'm smiling.
I'm trying to contain my emotions, right? But you're messing with me. This union, man, like 2 or 3 times in a row now, you got me like one bus open the guts.
No.
I can't contain myself.
According to Mr. Musa, the 2027 municipal election will not be done without redistricting. And to back it up, let's hear it.
I said that before the end of 2026, but I suspect I'm giving myself to the end of 2026, but I will aim for 2025, by the end of 2025. And so we're going to take a look at it, and then I think I want to, we look at the report that the Elections and Boundaries Commission, they'll have to take a hard look at it and see what changes or how they can reconfigure the recommendations that they did.
So
on the first step
he confirmed that it will be done by the end of 2026 to bring in municipal.
A lie. It's still a lie.
I go to you, Mr. Brackett, while Mr. Morrison
the man is still a lie.
phone.
Because in the first place, how come they had the convention, the Benke, for example, and not tell nobody that they brought across multiple amount of buses load of people from Melchor area who not supposed to be voting for election to start with. Hello? But Mr. Man, the minister of immigration, right? Minister of Immigration, Mr. Musa, well, the second table of play with now. He needs to say about this thing will get done to comply with the requirements of the Constitution and make sure that all different areas of the country is properly, taken care of. And he not say nothing about the fact that then they bring in people from across the Benke make for them number may look big, bigger than the UDP number.
Well, remember that tape was before the
Politics.
convention, so
Yeah, but
that wouldn't be there.
Before that, Prime Minister may ask how much people could bring because he could supply $15,000 and 1,000 manifesto. Remember that one? So I know just today this thing they go on.
But Mr. Brackett, let me ask you this question. Then I will go to Mr. Morrison.
Yes,
if Mr. Musa is saying that the redistricting will be done and there will be consultation and it will be transparent, why is it that the Attorney General blocked a FOIA from Mr. Enriquez?
Because they all talk lies. They collude among themselves. In a cabinet, they all know where each other here or where each other, because everybody talking in a cabinet about what's happening in the department. Okay? And then planning in cabinet what to do and how to come out here and lie to we the people because they have so-called immunity in a cabinet for non-disclosure reasons. Everything is secrecy. So they lie to we while in a cabinet and they conspire against it. That's how simple as that. You watch the thanks. You see the difference.
Okay, thanks for that, Mr. Morrison. Let me hear you on that because I will show you guys and the people at home and abroad, they have no intention of doing redistricting. And I will outright prove it tonight, right here in Belizean Affair.
Well, you know, I hear the minister says that they're going to conduct redistricting. I don't know how you could do a proper redistricting when the census information is as aged as it is. And so that becomes a concern for me. I gather they have the voters list, and that gives them some insight into where people are and what's going on from that regard, and so they can develop something of sort from it. But I do believe that to get the accurate voter redistricting is not just the voters list, but to also have the census information, which has been lacking now. I think the last time we had a census, I think it's like 15 years ago, if I'm not, and maybe longer.
I think so, longer than that.
Yeah. So you know, our system is falling down at so many points, and there's nothing we could hold up and say this particular thing is acting or behaving as it should be, and it is functioning well.
Greg would say by Mr. Morrison, Greg would say by design. Greg?
That is correct.
Yeah,
that is correct.
It may well be, and I'm not, and I tend to agree that there's definitely some thought put into you know, if you want to plan and have success, you got to plan. If you want failure, it is still planning, you know. It is still some level of planning that happens that gets us to failure. And I think that for the most part and for a good part, the neglect and the abstinence and the behavior of what's going on is slowly creating for us a deep systemic failure that will push us to the brinks of a failed state. And that's how I see it.
Thank you, Mr. Morrison.
Their action speaks louder than their actual voice.
And I will prove it tonight, my good cousin. I want to say this, right? If you said you intend to finish redistricting by the end of 2026, before the upcoming municipal election, why is it that you want to amend Section 90 of the Constitution? Hello? Make it make sense to me. Let's hear the tape.
Mr. Speaker, my government is committed to the redistricting exercise to be started afresh. To trigger the restart of the redistricting exercise, there are a number of constitutional amendments that will need to be pursued. The Elections and Boundaries Commission at paragraph 116 of its 2023 report had made recommendations relating to the amendment to Section 90 of the Constitution to, for instance, include a national mean of registered electors and include a threshold limit to allow for the increase or decrease of the number of registered electors in each division. We will be coming to the House in September with a bill to amend the Constitution of Belize to give effect to some of these recommendations so that the redistricting exercise can start anew. This should not be taken as working in conflict with the larger constitutional reform process of, of the PCC, Mr. Speaker. It is government addressing in real time matters that need to be addressed.
Come back.
People at home and abroad, you heard the Prime Minister. He wants to start it anew. But to start it anew, he wants to amend Section 90.
Yes, sir. Quickly, Greg. That statement was made on Friday, right? Last Friday meeting, right? You're going to start anew. When was the statement made by the previous Mr. Musa, where I tell you about earlier when I said that they lie? That was long before now, right? So when Musa said, then don't got the thing and they show the maps and thing and whatever it's not, the Prime Minister said, oh, they are start anew now. They're a bunch of scumbags.
Right.
That's what could be said about them.
But you know what? I want to say it right here tonight. It's not only that I believe, I'm telling you they cannot do it. And I will prove why they cannot do it. And you will not believe why. Mr. Morrison.
Great. They don't only tell on themselves, but they tell on each other.
So redistricting completing at the end of 2026 is through the door. That's not happening. I go to you, Mr. Morrison.
They will not do it even after the town board elections. They don't want to do it. You know why? Because they want to do it. If they ever get it done, they want to do it as close to the general election as possible, so the UDP no get to know the new boundaries if they ever get it done. And so they have a hard time being able to campaign in the new boundaries. And while they have the information, and they could continue campaigning as if they're campaigning in the old boundaries, but they're actually in the new boundaries. That's what we used to do in the early, not early, but late 60s and early 70s. So now nothing new than to come up with right now.
Okay.
Because they're from a mile away.
Right.
Look at
but I want to restate the word he said when the CCJ made its ruling. When he was asked the question, he said he believed that case is mute.
Whatever.
Right? I go to you, Mr. Morrison. I will show you why people at home and abroad, why they cannot do what he is saying. Go ahead, Mr. Morrison.
Well, I know for sure we have one of the most lying prime minister in our history, and he so easily wants to flick off the press, not realizing that they are doing unnecessary work in a democracy to keep the people informed about the function and operation of government. He's always seemed to be running from the press, and he always giving them flippant type of response, like he has no regard for them. I think somehow someone needs to educate him.
You don't tell him to put their name on the ballot already.
I think someone needs to educate him on his role and the role of the press in a democratic society. So I'm hoping that when he says he wants to do redistricting, that is coming from an honest part and an honest place. And I do hope and I do believe, this is my opinion, that they will do some redistricting for the upcoming council elections. I don't, as I said earlier, don't believe that it is the most correct way to do it without having the data from a current census. And because we have been so lapsed in,
When
in
you think they do the census, Mr. Morrison?
well, I don't know. I don't know.
When that is scheduled for?
I don't think they've scheduled it yet, and I don't think he has plans for it. But I don't think you can do a
You want to
very
change the
good.
constitution, though? You want to change the system of governance?
Yeah.
You want to get the powers of the Governor General under his wings, and the powers of the head of state under his wings. And then you stop calling yourself Prime Minister, you call yourself the President of the new Republic of Belize.
Mr. Morrison, I want to say this, and hopefully this will have some bearing and redistricting. I hope Mr. Wade, I hope Mr. Enriquez, and I hope the other party that went to vote for the redistricting has listened to this tape and heard what the Prime Minister said, that he intends to start the redistricting afresh. And I will tell you why I am saying that.
They'll never get done.
I will tell you why. Because he is actually telling the court he will not go ahead with the consent order and he will be in violation.
He wouldn't be doing anything less than what Mr. Barrow did, though, right?
So
at least Mr. Barrow tried to put it in the Constitution. This one.
So for those of you at home and abroad, I want to make it clear: a consent order was passed, and we have the Prime Minister saying publicly,
"The hell with the court,"
that he will violate it by starting the redistricting anew. And let's listen to it from the AG.
There's growing pressure over Belize's long-delayed redistricting process, and now the lines of responsibility are being drawn. Attorney General Anthony Sylvester says the government isn't calling the shots here, insisting the Elections and Boundaries Commission holds the constitutional power to redraw electoral maps and propose any changes. But as that process stalls, concerns are building. Activist Jeremy Enriquez is now pushing for answers, filing a Freedom of Information request and warning that uneven voter numbers across constituencies are undermining fairness at the polls.
I know the claim for Mr. Enriquez is the one which is foremost in our mind of late, but I need to point out that there was a claim previously brought by Parker Smith and the Belize Peace Movement. In that matter, Central does seeks, that matter, Mr. Enriquez seeks to do the same thing that they did. And in fact, actually, what had happened is that there was a consent order that was agreed with the government in that Parker Smith matter.
There it goes. The consent order that the government agreed to, that the court had go through, that the government will do the redistricting, must be carried out. So if he goes and tries to start afresh, he's in violation of that consent order, and he will also be in violation of the ruling that was passed down by the CCJ, that he is trying to say the case is moot.
Greg, many times in the past we went through that particular scenario and we pointed out that there was no estoppel there. Okay? So the judge had jurisdiction of that case when Parker Smith and his group then went back to her, Judge Neby, to ask her to compel the respondents to follow through with the consent order requirements or to sanction them because they had entered into that agreement and they were the one who proposed it. It wasn't the plaintiffs that proposed that stuff. And Judge Neby, under her seal, as the person who had jurisdiction on that case, and that case was still live with her having the responsibility for the disposition of that case, when she told them she can't help them, then who the hell else would have been able to help them then? When the Supreme Court, according to the Constitution, has unlimited jurisdiction in all matters, especially relating to constitutional issues. She did not even deal with the constitutionality of that case. She brushed it aside, all in order to give the government the opportunity to stay violating the Constitution. Isn't even up to today date that we're having this conversation. They're still in violation, as you just
That is correct. Mr. Morrison, I go to you for your remarks and to close the program as we are at that time.
Bunch of
You know, we know what that this case and the ruling and the failure and why Mr. Jeremy Enriquez won in the court ruling was because of the same matter that the justices was undermining the entire process of constitutional required um, um, breaking up and setting the boundaries for the elections and fair and equal sort of breakout for the constituents. So we know that there's a deep seated concern and issue even now in our courts because they have become and have been proven untrustworthy of administering our basic laws and even the supreme law of the country, the Constitution. And I am always a little bit pressed in terms of having a CCJ that would rule on the constitutionality of certain constitutional issues and why we have allowed that to leave our country as the adjudicator of what our laws should be. So I have a lot of concerns about that whole issue of ICJ, not ICJ, CCJ having that ability to rule above or local justices that has to live with the effect of what our Constitution says and the interpretation of our Constitution.
But our Constitution says that the CCJ is the ultimate high court in our legal system and in our governance system.
I know, but I'm saying
unless we're going to change the Constitution like Mr. Mann wants to do, so that they won't have to comply with these existing constitutional criteria, right? Then at the end of the day, we're not getting better governance by making a change to exculpate the criminals committing the crimes, because that will continue under legal status then. We are being fooled, and we fool ourselves into going along with their foolishness. Because the laws are there in black and white. And if we are going to tolerate these jackals going ahead and trying to change what the Constitution is, to put in place something in lieu of the Constitution that is more pliable to their needs, then we might as well not have no Constitution, which is what they are all about. They don't respect the Constitution. They don't want to deal with it, and they want to do whatever they want to do and forget about Constitution. Who's going to carry them to jail or try them or prosecute them or do whatever needs to be done with conjures like that? Nobody. And they won't prosecute themselves.
Well, thank you, gentlemen, for tonight's show. We have come to the end of it. We are way over time, but with good discussion. As I said, I want to see the outcome. If he intends to violate the consent order, it's open ground for those who file for the redistricting to take him to court. And constitutionality, I could guarantee you they will win. But I want to say good night to you.
I'll still hold on till the last week comment, Mr. Chairman. Last week comment about we want to know who went to jail. I'm going to hang my hat on that one.
Thank you, Mr. Brackett.
Welcome, sir.
I want to say good night to
Nice show, Mr. Gregory Morrison and Mr. Gregory.
you, the people at home and abroad. Thanking you to tune in for tuning in to this 479
before we go,
edition. No, Mr. Brackett, we
yes,
are
no,
over
no,
time.
sir. Just before we go, I wish some of we legal minds in our country would have start paying attention to some of these things and start helping the people to understand really what is at stake and what's going on. Because we have enough lawyers on both sides of the aisle and some in between that should be able to step in the breach and help the process. I yield back. Friday, I'll probably pursue that a little further.
Again, good night to you, the people at home and abroad. Thanking you for tuning in to this 479th edition of Belizean Affair. Have a great night.